welcome back to She's At It Again. This morning I have some errands to run and I don't really want to come in this afternoon and start worrying about what's for dinner. So I have 2 smoked sausages left in a package. So we got to figure out what to do with those. We're going to add those to some other vegetables, put them in a slow cooker, put the lid on, and forget about it for the rest of the day. So go with us as we start just throwing together things we have chopped up already. All right, over here at the countertop beside the sink, I'm just going to start dumping stuff in. There's actually a written recipe that, I don't know, I scratched down on a piece of paper a few years ago, so I'll kind of semi-follow that, but I may figure out there's things that I don't want to put in it or things that I want to add to it. So right now, I had this part of an onion left over. I'm going to just kind of rough chop it. Kind of the whole story of this, just rough chop it if it needs chopping. I have my potato cut up. I used a pretty large potato and then a smaller potato, and I think that actually might be too much, so we'll just see when we get to it. And I'm not afraid of a piece of leftover potato cut up going into the refrigerator. I just put it in some water, cover it up, and stick it in there, and we'll use it for fried potatoes or something else. All right, so that's not enough onion. That'll get us started. Do any of y'all panic when you get down to 2 onions in your supply? I reached over there in that big bag of onions. This started out as I think it was either a 10 or 20 pound bag of onions, but I had it a little while. And I reached in there and was like, there's only 2 of them in there. So, how some people do, I guess, when they get down to a low supply of clothes or something in the closet. I'm that way about when I start running low on onions, because it seems like I use onions in everything. And I didn't realize that until recently. Found out that a friend of mine has an allergy to sulfites, and she can't have onions and garlic and stuff like that. And I thought, I'll still make stuff for her. No, I don't. Man, that's hard. To cook without onions and garlic is almost like telling somebody, okay, you're going to live on a remote island for 2 days and you have to survive. You're just eating like sticks and rocks and stuff. You don't even know what you're doing, but you're certainly not adding any flavor to it, because onions and garlic are probably 2 of the first things I grab when I just start cooking anything. All right, so we have enough onions in here just to cover the bottom of our little slow cooker. Now, this is the whole reason I'm making this, is because I had this package of these really good smoked sausages, and I only used 2 of them out of there, and I can't even remember what I made with it. Something recently, and I thought, okay, I got to figure out something to do with these smoked sausages, and so that's why we're doing this. And I'm just going to cut these up in just little chunks. The nice thing about this is if you have somebody that says, I don't like green beans, or I don't like onions in this case, leave them out. Just add something else to it. You could add sweet potatoes to this. You could add black olives to this. I mean, there is seriously no end to the combination of things you could do to this. But the nice thing about it is if you start it in the morning and it's done by noon, you want the item that takes the longest to cook to be on top so you can kind of test it. But if it's done by noon and you check it, just turn it on warm. Keep it warm until dinner time. So dinner's done when you walk in the door. All right, putting our smoked sausage in there like such. I'm going to put these green beans in there. This is just a package of green beans that I'd opened earlier. I'm going to throw these out on here. All right, every once in a while there's a green bean stem, like part of the vine, that gets in there, and I don't think I want that in my stuff. catch it before it gets too far into the cooking process. I really don't need that big chunk of ice in there though. Now if you wanted carrots in this too, that would be great. Really just any favorite vegetable, throw it off in there. All right, I think that's all that I was going to put in there other than my potatoes. Let's see how much of this I can put on the top. Now, I know it'll cook down a little bit, but that should be fine right there. I'll do something else with the rest of those. All right, I'm going to take some rosemary. This is the rosemary that I was making cuttings from my rosemary plant out in the sunroom recently, and I thought, you know what, I can't throw those little rosemary needles away because they're so fragrant and they're so flavorful. But I'm just going to crush these up a bit in my hand and put them over that. I do love the taste of rosemary. All right, then a little bit of pepper that I've actually ground up. Put some salt in. Really, the only part of that needs any salt are the potatoes on the top, as far as my version of this is concerned. Next, I want to put just a drizzle of olive oil on it. Not a whole lot. If we had the meat on top, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because the fat from the meat would kind of keep the potatoes moistened, but not the case with that. Okay, I'm going to add a tiny bit of balsamic vinegar. Not a lot at all. You can always add more later, but you can't add less. All right, we're going to put this in our slow cooker holder here. Put the lid on it. Plug it in back here. And turn it on. Set it for low. So we're going to let this cook for a few hours. We'll come back and I'll let you take a look at it. All right, I just want to show this to you. This has been going maybe 4 or 5 hours, and it's still on low, as you can see. But this is what it looks like. The potatoes are softened now, and I have a feeling everything else is fine down in there too. Just guessing. But I am going to turn this on warm because I have to go run more errands, and that's ready for dinner when we come back, and it smells really, really nice. So we'll see what it looks like when we're done. Okay, so here's our dish. This is what it looks like, and it smells every bit as good as what it looks like. So I'm about to dig into this. My husband's fixing to pull in the garage, and the dogs are going to start going absolute nuts. So before they start making too much noise, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. The simple recipe for this is going to be in the description. Like, you probably don't really need a recipe for it, but just in case you do, I'll give that to you. So enjoy. See ya.